Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Chelsea Cook, and I am the author of Lemonade Making the Most of What You Have. I am back. It's been a long time since I've been on live with you guys. I'm super excited to be back today. And I'm really excited because I have with me live in the studio William the Maestro May. Super excited to have you with us today. Now, this is what I need you all to do. I'm going to read you all William's bio. And as I'm reading his bio, I need you to share this broadcast because it's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, let's talk about Mr. William May. The music of William May has been called impressive, astounding, and written with attention to detail and tonal clarity. A youthful native of Atlanta, Georgia, this eclectic artist has already achieved much in the way of musical success. He is the 2011 winner of the Neophonia competition for young composers. He holds state, regional, national titles from the 2009 Music Teachers National Association competition for young composers. As well, he has retained the ear of many prominent musical figures all over the world, including David Hallsinger, which is of the On a Hymn Song of Philip Bliss, Mervyn Warren, of Take Six, The Preacher's Wife, and Richard Smallwood, Total Praise. Over the years, he has written for such talent as the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, the Robert McDuffie String Orchestra, and the Columbus State University Philharmonic. Let's please welcome Mr. William May. It's a lot. It's so much. His credentials are like this tall, and if I keep reading, I'm going to be reading for days. but I really, but I really wanted to just jump in and talk to William. William, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Chelsea. We didn't have to do all this, but no, I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen. Today we're going to be discussing your incredible journey. Oh my goodness. And how you used your faith to turn your lemons into lemonade. That's the theme, turning your lemons into lemonade. So can you tell us about how you got started, with singing and composing, and what has made you the artist that you are today?
Well, it's interesting you asked that question, like just at this particular moment in my life, because I think the biggest thing that I could probably share with you and with your, with the listeners here is the idea of the bounce back. And what I mean by that is, I've always been a kind of person where, for whatever the reason, whenever things happen that may be negative or maybe viewed as a negative thing, for some reason, just life kind of has a way of finding me in a place to where I'm able to just kind of bounce back from that situation or that scenario. Um, and I can remember not just now, but even back in the earliest points in my life, when I would be like in early grade school, when I like first got into music, I started in playing trumpet. And in my elementary school band, fourth grade, with Mr. George Rollins, who's on Facebook, which is pretty cool. But anyway, I started as last chair in that ensemble. And I stayed last chair, pretty much all the way through elementary school almost. And it, for somebody like me who is just like in love with music and music making, um, that was a pretty depressive type situation. It's like, man, like as much as I'm trying to do, as much as I'm practicing or whatever, I just can't seem to win. Um, Fast forward a little bit, and I get to middle school, change schools, change areas, we changed districts and everything, and I end up first chair in the band program at my middle school. And not just that, but I stayed first chair all the way through middle school and then high school. Then got a scholarship to go to college to continue on playing music as well. And so, in that small way, which some people might look at something like that and say, man, that's a small thing, but it meant a lot to me. And the way that it happened was very real to me in my mind. But that was a bounce back moment. Um, there's been other, I mean, many other scenarios, in my life really a lot of them centered around music, where things would happen and I find myself in just terrible kinds of circumstances. I remember one time I went to, I was auditioning for a school at this time, to for composition, and I went. I didn't even go and audition for this gentleman. It wasn't even really a lesson. I happened to catch him in between classes at the school, and I just asked for a little bit of his time. We sat down for like what was supposed to be like 30 minutes, and I don't even think I was in there for 10 or 15, because he listened to a little bit of my music and kind of chuckled to himself and said, "Man, this sounds like cartoon music." And I just remember just like the feeling of just that, almost just like crushing feeling, and going from that at a very pivotal moment in my life, about to make a very major transition, not just changing schools, but possibly states, at the early years of my college experience. And that was an instance where, I really could have walked away. And in a way, I did kind of walk away for a bit. But again, life kind of has a way, and really, God has a way of bringing us back to at the appointed time, to go back and retake and reclaim those things that we thought we had lost. And long story short, the very next year, I ended up studying with the director, the dean of the School of Music of the school that I ended up going to, studying with him personally, one on one, in composition. Ended up getting into a number of music festivals that same year, and started writing a piece that would later win like a national award in 2008. And that was an experience where a bounce back occurred. And so, God has a way of using things to show you other things, so that it can kind of help you deal with other things, so that you can come out on top when it's all said and done. At the end, you win. And God used all of that to really show me how, God is really trying to tell, not just me, but us, I've got you. I got you. I mean, I've got you, daughter. I've got you, son. I got your back. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about anything. And so when I finally caught on to that, and when I finally latched onto that, man, things just took off. Because now suddenly, it wasn't life putting me in these different predicaments, and then kind of life carrying me out. No, it was, now I see God in all of it. God brought me here. God took me to where I am today. And if I use the tools that He's given, and if I listen to what He's saying, and if I follow His directives, and if I trust Him, I have faith, then I'll always come out on top, regardless of what negative happens. And if something negative does happen, guess what we about to do? We about to find what God is trying to say in here, learn from it, and bounce back. So that's my story
Wow,
in a
what an
nutshell.
incredible testimony. I just kept thinking about the scripture, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. And
Yes,
that's you really
absolutely.
that's your testimony, how you went from being way in the back last chair to being first chair, not just in middle school, but in high school as well. It just goes to show timing is everything. We can get, we can want something right then and right now, and it may not be time. You may have all of the tools. You may have the potential, you have the talent, but it's not time. And so let's talk about that a little bit. I know that I'm veering a little bit, but timing, talk about timing and how important timing is, and waiting on your particular time, because you have done a lot of things in a really short window. So talk about timing and how important that has been in your life.
Oh my goodness. Timing is everything. It can make or break a person. It spells out perspective. You can, and we see it all the time actually. Just as we go throughout this life, in the news, in television, and movies, where the character, if they would have just waited 5 minutes later, for
Mm,
the and we as the audience watch as the camera, it'll like focus on the main character, and then the camera might pan over to like another scene, or like might fade into another scene, and all of a sudden we see the same situation from a different perspective. And there might be another character that's behind the scenes doing something that we
mm.
didn't know, and the character doesn't know. But if they would have just waited, or kind of waited it out or whatever, things may have changed. Their perspective may have shifted. um, Timing can can really affect things either in a positive or a negative way. If we learn to wait, and if we learn to be patient. And I posted something on Facebook the other day. I said, man, it seems like God is just really trying to say the same thing that my grandmother used to say back in the day. Like, especially when this pandemic happened, I kind of feel like God was saying collectively to all of us, get somewhere and sit down. And that's something that my grandmother used to always say. And really, there is some wisdom. There is a lot of wisdom in just that one statement, where you don't have to do everything all at the same time. You don't have to, try to get and attain and just go and always be in the rat race and always be trying to, get where you're trying to be. Particularly if that's not God's plan for you. But then especially, if it's just, I mean, if you can look at certain things and just tell, man, this is not it. It's not natural. It's not, it's not free flowing. It's not the way that God tends to operate. This is really just me. This is me trying to make something happen. But God, in reality, God didn't say do this right now. God didn't say go this way. But oftentimes it's me, myself, and I trying to go in that direction myself, and really trying to go after it and get it because I want it. But, is it the right time? And beyond just the right time and timing, is it even right for me? And so a lot of this has to do with, with wisdom. I mean, all things are, what does it say? All things are timely, but all things are not expedient. I
Right.
think there's a scripture that comes to mind like that, where, you might be able to get it, but is it right for you? Or
Right.
you might be able to get it right now, but is it good for you to have right now? Can you
All
even
things are
handle it right
lawful.
now?
All things are lawful, but not all
All
things.
things are lawful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
all things
Thank
are
you.
lawful.
Yeah, all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. And the expedient, I think, speaks to timing, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Or even just it being a right fit for you, or even
Right.
just being appropriate for you to have at that particular
Right.
time.
Right.
So yeah, timing, it means a lot. It can spell out the difference between between victory and defeat. And there are a lot of things that come up even with the word timing. Patience comes up
Mm.
in my mind with the word timing. Do you know how to wait? Because there is a way to wait. There's an impatience that people sometimes display when they're waiting, and then there's a patience. And I think both of those speak to totally different characters. There are different things that you'll see with the person who is waiting patiently versus the one who's waiting impatiently.
Mm.
Um, you know, and so yeah, I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but just timing. It really and God has shown me. I've been blessed to be able to see God's hand when it comes to timing, and God will order certain circumstances to happen in a particular order. And it's amazing to see. I won't give all of this particular story, but I'll say that there was a certain situation that happened, and God allowed me to minister to someone, actually. So now I guess we've gotten away from talking about professionalism, talking about ministry, but God allowed me to minister to someone. And after that happened, that was like event number one, right? God allowed me to minister to somebody. Then event number two, it's almost like Satan comes like right after that and tries to kind of steal your joy, steal your peace, tell you that whatever you think happened didn't happen. And
Mm.
it's like that's exact like clockwork. Satan came and tried to discourage me. And right I could feel myself getting to that level, to that place of discouragement. Right before I jumped over that ledge, right before I reached that precipice, I could look over and see discouragement. Right before I got there, God allowed a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, to walk right up to me, get in my face, and give me a word directly from the Lord, dealing with the ministry that had just taken place earlier. So that's event number three, right? Event number one is that I ministered. Event number two was the discouraging message came. And then immediately right before I began to get discouragement, Event number 3 happened. God allowed somebody to come right up into my face and speak a word of life to me that immediately took me right out of that depressive state that I was about to fall into. And not only that, but like right after that, somebody else came to me, and event number 4 happened where they gave me a word from the Lord, and dealing with my future. And so it was almost like a past, present, and future thing had occurred, kind of like all in the span of like minutes. And it's just amazing because had those events been switched or flipped, there might have been a totally different outcome to come
Mhm.
from that situation.
Mm.
But the Bible talks about God ordering our
He
steps. The
does.
steps of a good man are ordered by the
Ordered
Lord.
by the
And
Lord.
and I believe that, and I'm
Yes.
thankful that I've been able to begin to see it.
Right. Because you waited.
Yeah.
Because you waited. I want to talk about something you said earlier about timing. And I know we're sort of on this timing thing, but a few months ago, I came to you. You came to me actually about something totally different, about a different project. And I said, "Hey, Will, I got this song that's been sitting on the shelf for like months." And it's a crazy how it happened because I wrote this song, this arrangement for someone. They asked me to write this arrangement. And I sent the song to them, recorded it, never heard back from this person. So I'm thinking, well, maybe they just didn't like it. So the song sat for months. And so you got a hold to this, or you heard it, and within maybe I don't even know if it was 5 minutes later, you called me and you were like, "You need to do this song. Let me write it out for you." And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a minute. We're gonna go, and I've never done this with StreamYard, but I'm gonna try. We're gonna actually show you the video of this song. It's an arrangement of "Down by the Riverside," and Will and I gotta okay. Will and I, we worked on it together. I hope you all can see my screen. Can y'all see my screen?
I can see it.
Okay, here we go.
Mhm.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside. Study one no more, study one no more, study one no more, study one no more. Study one no more, study one no Riverside, God's a little trouble on the water by the riverside. We're going down, yeah. God's a little trouble on the water by the riverside. Down by the riverside, 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 down by the riverside. We're going down by the riverside. Riverside. We're going down, yeah. God's a gonna trouble, God's a gonna trouble on the water by the river, by the riverside.
All right. That was
Yes,
"Down by the
yes,
Riverside."
yes, yes.
That was so much fun.
Yes, it
And
was.
oh my gosh, I mean, just all of that came, and then for those of y'all who don't know, so a few months ago, actually back in April, this piece premiered at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. And I mean, this door opened for me through William. William, I want you just to talk about the impact that it had on the students and the whole experience of seeing this piece that you and I put together, performed live on stage.
It was an amazing experience from the beginning. First of all, let's go back to when you let me listen to this song. You sent me an MP3 of what you had done with the song at the very, very beginning of the process. Back in, I think it was either October or November. And first of all, it wasn't 5 minutes. It was more like less than 60 seconds. You sent it to me. I started listening to it. I got like 15 seconds, I believe, into it, maybe a little bit past that intro. And then I stopped it, called you back, and said, you got to do this. So yeah, it was like I knew immediately that song, that arrangement was just, it was fire. It was fire. And it was going to be just an amazing thing. So first of all, it was my honor, my pleasure. It was such a such it was just an opportunity for me more than anything else to just be a part of what you already had going on. So I wanted to just say again, thank you for giving me that platform, giving me that opportunity to do it. That being said, your gift will make room for you, and something that has that is of quality, that has quality. It's going to go beyond just you. It's going to go beyond perhaps what you even were thinking or seeing that it could go. And indeed, that's what this arrangement has done. Everybody who's heard it has loved it, which I'm really thankful for. And that includes the folks over at UAB. And it wasn't just them, but they were the ones who said yes and opened up the door for the opportunity first. So we were able, Chelsea, to just go and go through that open door and already get its first like world premiere outside of just you and I.
Right.
And it's an amazing thing. A little bit about UAB, the University of Alabama in Birmingham. They have a gospel choir there that was established by, I believe it was Dr. Kevin Turner, who is known in some circles as the godfather or the pioneer of the collegiate gospel choir. And their ensemble had been taken over, I believe it was 2018, by Dr. Reginald Jackson, who is actually my uncle. And he went and has just taken that choir and just done some amazing things with them. They've been able to perform, tour all over the East Coast, and they've been able to get their message and their voices out all over the world, literally around the world. As a matter of fact, at the concert that we were at, they had another choir there who had traveled all the way from Poland to be there and to perform and sing with them, and we were able to be part of that particular concert with this premiere. So yeah, it's just an amazing thing. The door opened through my uncle, who had actually contracted me through the school to do some arrangements outside of Down by the Riverside, but some arrangements for their horn section. So I've been writing for their horns all year. And when this door opened, he asked me this time, hey, do you have anything else other than just horn arrangements? We would love to sing it with the choir if you have anything vocally. And I said, you know what? I've got some stuff, but of my own, but even more special is what I just got through working on with my friend Chelsea. And then I began to tell my uncle, about you, Chelsea, and then everything just kind of went from there. He heard the song, of course, loved it, and then immediately was like, okay, what do we have to do? Let's get the ball rolling on it. Send us the sheet music, and it's amazing. Again, timing, just the way that things work out. But there's another thing that comes along with that, which is good preparation. Because had we not been ready for that door to be open and for that opportunity to present itself, then that would have become a missed opportunity. Because had we not had all of our ducks in a row and everything ready to go right away, that opportunity it would have just passed us right by.
So I want to stop you right there. You said something. You said that that night there was another opportunity that came up at the spur of the moment, and I
wow.
wasn't even. we were not prepared for this
No,
opportunity, and I'm
no.
gonna show y'all what happened. So I'm on my way to Alabama And William calls me and he's like, so let me tell you. So, like one of the lead singers on this particular song can't
What
be
had
here.
happened was,
What had happened was, we want to know, can you sing? I was like, what? And I was like, William, I'll do it if you do it with me. So we're gonna get ready to watch this. This is what happened, you guys. Let me show y'all what happened. This was spur of the moment, last minute. Just let's get it done. And so this was me and William. Here we go. Okay, so that whole situation right there. But it was so much fun.
yes,
It was so much fun.
yes.
I don't know what I was doing. We were just going back and forth. We were just vibing back and forth. But we got it now. We just made it work. I went down there, guys, for a totally different reason. I was not supposed to be on that stage. Okay, I'm supposed to be watching this choir premiere my piece, and I get pulled up on the stage to sing.
And you get pulled up because I got pulled up. I got called. You know, what the folks don't know is I got called right before I called you, and you know, my uncle said, "Hey, you know, we don't have you know, we don't have our singer." And I'm trying to remember if he asked if I could do it or if he asked if I could ask you if you could do it. But either way, some kind of way, he called me, and then I ended up calling you, Chelsea. And then, you know, it just went from there. But it it was literally within the span of like less than 24 hours before
Right.
that video.
Right. I was like,
Yeah.
God, this is not even really my. Ooh, boy. But we got it and we made it do what it do. We made it. We made it work. We made it work. So I'm super excited about that. Was such an incredible experience. The whole experience was amazing. Well, we're getting ready to wrap this up. So, William, really, really quickly. There's something I want to talk about. The last 3 chapters of my book, we talk about strawberry lemonade, how to make your program more attractive. That's like with marketing. And I know you used to work in the school system and you're no longer in the school system, but you've done very well for yourself, just working independently. Can you please tell us, give us some tools? Because I could use some help with marketing and your brand and getting your name and your product out there. Give us some tools about that.
So first, I want to talk about lean in, and this is my message, my lesson, my sermon, whatever, what have you. Learn to lean into what you do well, and to lean into and depend on the gifts that you have and develop those, because that's what people want to see. They want to see what it is that you're good at. Yes, it is good and important to work on the things that you don't do as well at, to strengthen those. But don't spend all of your time there. Why? Because that's not where you've been gifted. Spend your time and use your time. You can be more effective developing the things that you're gifted at, because you'll go further faster with those things than spending all of your time working on something that is already guaranteed from the beginning that it's not going to be, you know, a good fit, because it's not what you've been gifted in. And so I would definitely start by encouraging people to really lean into what it is that you do well. Find that thing, identify that thing, and then just take off with that thing. That it just so happens that, you know, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to branding, when it comes to the presentation, that happens to be a good fit for me. In terms of you know, how I present my compositions, myself, my music, my singing, you know, just all of those things. But it didn't start out that way. You know, I kind of fell into this whole business aspect of what I do, and branding, and even photography, and putting together videos. I mean, I didn't know how to do any of this stuff when I was sitting, you know, fourth grade last chair in the trumpet section at my band. But wouldn't you know it, the Bible is right. God says that your gift will make room for you. And that's what it has done. And so be ready and be prepared when you do this. Be ready and be prepared for new opportunities that you might not even thought or suspected to open up and to present themselves simply because you're in the room and simply because you are and because you have made yourself available to develop and cultivate your gifts, right? You didn't spend all your time working on things that you know are already not going to work. You took your time and used it well and wisely, developing things that you know you already do well,
Mhm.
to increase those things, right?
Right.
So now you're providing providing a value added type of situation and scenario, and it might sound like it's at the offset. It might sound like that's unrelated to branding and that's unrelated to marketing and all of those different things. But people don't want to see what it is that you don't do well at. People want to see what it is that you bring to the table. You
Right.
know, that's what investors want to see. That's what audiences want to see. That's what producers want to see. That's what my uncle wanted to see. Um, and this was something that you obviously do very well. And I don't know how much your following is aware of what it is that you do, but I know enough about you to know that that arrangement was not the only one that you have, and that's not the only one that you've done. And I know enough to know that you do that well enough to where you can do that kind of stuff in your sleep, right? And so if you wanted to, you could continue doing that kind of thing, forever, because there will be an audience for that will find you if you don't find them first. And so even to you, Chelsea, I would encourage you even to lean into what it is that God has gifted you. And I'll even go a step further to say what He's anointed you to do. Find what God has anointed you to do. Spend time with Him. Talk to Him. Ask Him, God, what is it that you've anointed me to do? Because it's going to be what God has put His signature on and what He's put His touch on and what He's anointed that will take off. And so again, go back to those things that God has gifted and enabled you to do well, and you'll find the most increase there. You're
Wow.
already finding increase there, but lean into that.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing experience with the William May. William, tell us how we can follow you on social media, how we can find you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, I tell people all the time now that if you want to find and do this up, but if you find this is something that like the young people and kids, even in my classroom, like I just pull out my phone if I'm in a conversation. I say, okay, just scan me, right? So I'll use a QR code, and then they'll pull it up, and it'll come up. So I'm sure probably in the video once this is made, people will be able to stop, pause that, and pull up their phone and
Yes.
scan that QR code that just showed up. But anyway, aside from that, it's just my name, WilliamMayMusic.com. You can pull it up from anywhere on any device, and you can see my website, see a little bit more about me, listen to some music. Maybe you'll find something that you like. And I'm on some social media websites as well. I believe you can find all of those through my website as well. But if you don't remember anything else, WilliamMayMusic.com.
Thank you so much. This has been absolutely amazing, guys. Thank you. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Thanks
Oh, hold
again.
on, hold on. My book. I forgot my stuff. Lemonade, making the most of what you have. This is my platform. I'm going to forget my own stuff. Right here. Lemonade, making the most of what you have. You have not gotten your copy. Go to Amazon.com. Pick up your copy today. And at that point, we are done. Bye.